everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to Finance Friday. This is the show where we transform your relationship with your money by giving you the information you need to grow and protect your wealth. I'm Amy Novakovich. I am here with the lovely Beth McLaren again. Thank you for coming back. So there's a plus. I didn't scare her away. That's awesome.
No.
I'm going to share this
like to
out.
Talk, so
we do.
That helps.
And I am just happy that Jim isn't here, constantly like, oh, there's the live. So I'm going to go ahead and share this out. To all of you who are watching, go ahead and share it. Hey, Megan. Yay, Megan's back. Share this out. Follow me on Twitter at Novakovich Amy. Follow us on Instagram. We're doing quick, little 1-minute videos, which have really been working out.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think?
I saw the one you did yesterday, the third tip, right?
The third tip. From ages 25 to 35, what's the minimum you need to be doing financially? Yeah. So they're like 1-minute videos on Instagram. So follow us there at Nova Wealth Management. And on YouTube, we've been uploading really all of our videos on YouTube. So subscribe there. But what a great topic to talk about heading into the weekend is how to stay on track with your finances, heading in the right direction with your financial plan or budget. How do you stay on track? Or thanks to Ryan, I'm going to give you a shout out right there, how to get back on track. So we have some tips for you today on how to stay on track or get back on track with your money. Hey guys, thanks for joining. Again, share this out if you find it valuable. We are very appreciative of shares. You had something really, really good, and I really want you just to come out of the gates with it because you were just telling me about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So some people are not good with numbers, and that's okay, but that's not an excuse to not take control. It's not good. That's not a reason to not take control of your finances. So
it's the psychology of it.
Right.
I really feel like people think money controls you, and money is just something you use.
Right. So instead of saying, well, I'm not a numbers person, that's fine. If you're not, there's apps that do it for you. So I was telling you, one of the apps I like is Mint. Because
you can in the comments.
You can set
it's just mint.com, right?
Yeah,
well, and there's the app Mint.
Right, there's the app. And it can send you alerts and things and say, you overspent this much, $50 over this month when you normally
I did not know, which was really awesome.
So it's helpful for things.
But you have to put in the budget.
Right. So if you're not good with numbers, what I liked about Mint is that you could add all of your accounts. So they all go in one spot. But if you don't want technology knowing what you're doing, you just need to take some time to sit down and print out or not even print out, just sit down on your computer, give yourself an hour, go through all your financial institutions, get your login, pull your history for 30
Which I know
days.
some people out there right now are thinking, oh, that sounds great, Beth. Let me
I know.
run and do that
That's
right
awesome.
now.
But if you're in a situation where you're going, well, where am I at?
Right.
You've got to do
need
something
a little
about it.
inventory of what you have and where you are.
Right.
And it helps so much just to see it. You're right. Even if you aren't a numbers person, just to see what you have and who you owe. Because remember, we talk about how the wealthy use debt as a way to make more money, not just pay other people money. So at some point, you've got to get out of this cycle of the whole, I have something come up and now I got to go, it's called desperate borrower mode. Right. And the way you avoid that is by staying on top of it. Get this Mint app. And obviously, we're not associated with Mint.
It's just something I've used too. But the part about this is we're talking about, getting out how much money you're spending is that budgets aren't sexy.
Oh my gosh, no.
Nobody's like,
well, that's why I said with Carl, he was like, I don't like the word budget. Go away with budget. I don't like the word budget. So I kind of changed it to your financial routine. Right. Whatever your financial routine is, you've got to stick in your financial routine. So that's actually the second tip on our list. Is you've got to write it down. That's the first thing that I want you to do. Be habitual about writing down what you want. I don't even want to call it goals because it's a must. I must not, go over my food spending budget for this week. I must not. Write down what things you must not do and then make them attainable. Put numbers on it so you can measure it. Like Beth said, put down that, notify me when I hit $100 or whatever.
And I think the one I was referring to, I'm sure other apps do it too. They'll notify you automatically. You just get, I get an email. I got one.
Wait, so it tracks your expenses that it knows when you're spending money?
Yes. So I did, and the reason I brought this up is I added a new line to one of my cell phone accounts.
Mhm.
So it tracked how much I was spending at my cell phone providers and said, well, you're over this month. Well, I should have been over. I added a new account.
added
But
a
if
new
I
line.
wasn't, and all of a sudden I'm like, why am I getting charged more than I should have been? I can go back and investigate and find out
Nice.
what happened there.
Okay.
Also with that too, if you don't like the apps like we were talking about too, and you prefer the paper option, Nova actually has courses coming out soon.
Yeah.
And one of the courses talks about how to build a budget and a debt, and it takes the debt worksheet. There's a debt worksheet, I should say, and it really breaks it down for you to how to track your debt and also how to build a budget.
It helps you prioritize, and it
Right.
helps you show where you need to put your money. And so, yeah, we're just starting to launch those courses. So if you have any questions on those, we actually have a free webinar that we could, I wonder if Jackie is still on, how we could do this, because we're kind of just winging this right now, Jackie. Like we could just, give out the free webinar for sharing to everybody who shares, and then we could give out the free webinar. And it's all about tips on getting out of debt and how to stay on track, in addition to obviously what we're talking about today. This is just kind of a generic, because there's so many people in different situations. Actually, Ryan and I were talking about this earlier too. There's people that are in that situation of like totally paycheck to paycheck, constantly in the hole, like really dire, defaults and constant trouble with money, and how do you get out of that cycle? And then there's the people that make pretty good money, but maybe they just have some debt, or maybe they just have something come up and they're just kind of set back a little bit, and then they get better, back on track. They're kind of like middle of the road. And then there's people that are super successful, make great money, but make really bad impulsive choices, which is one of the things we're going to get to. And then there's people that make good money and save a lot of money and just want to make more money. So there's all different types of people that watch this. So we try to be really, really general, but I would say that webinar and the course is really more targeted to the first two people, to the people that want to get out of that nasty cycle, or that never-ending cycle of having to constantly borrow money, and the people that just kind of keep getting set back and then have to inch their way forward and just feel like they're, constantly getting socked in the stomach. But so the first two tips are, we're talking about how to stay on track with your finances, moving in the right direction. So the first one was, let apps and technology help you. Get something like Beth had mentioned, mint.com. I know, now I don't remember. There's one on my phone that I use. I've talked about it at the churches before. I'll remember in a minute. But there's a lot of apps out there. And I have even financial calculator apps. Like every time I go to get a loan, like it's so nice having loan calculators on your phone. So easy to just punch in the numbers and seeing like how much you're really paying in interest, or how much your monthly payment is going to be. Don't let them tell you. Do on your app, calculate what you need it to be. If you know your budget, that's another very useful tool. If you know your budget and you know how much payment that you can afford, back into it on the app and say, my interest rate needs to be this, or no, my payment needs to be this. Like, you are in control.
Right.
You are in control. So I'm gonna write that down, because I just jumped around. So the first one was use technology like a mint.com. The second one was to write down, I don't even want to call them goals, but I want you to write down what you must do, and do this every day. This is something that you have to become habitual about. Write down what you must do and how you're going to get there. Something measurable to measure your progress, which again, the technology can help you. And then I just mentioned another one. So there's the 3 C's, and this was a YouTube video. Convenience, comparison, and compromise. So one of the ones that will help you when you are trying to stay on track with your finances. Hey, Erica. When you're trying to stay on track with your finances, the 3 C's, one of the YouTube videos that we did, will really help you stay on track. Convenience, comparison, and compromise. So don't just do what is convenient, right? We see examples of this all the time with clients. Like, well, it was just convenient, or it was right there, right? So I just did it. Or it was a friend, or it was a neighbor, or whatever. So I just did it. That is convenience. You are probably not making the best decision if you're making a financial decision based on convenience. Or like in the bank. We were just in the bank this morning. So many times when I worked in the bank, when I was a banker, people would come in and, like before I even get to like the third option, I'll be like, you got 3 options. And I'll just like not even get through all the options. Of like, oh yeah, just do that. It's like, but you haven't heard all the options yet. Like, again, because I like to talk too. It's just like, well, let me tell you.
It's a terrible gift of gab to have.
I know that's a curse. But so the 3 C's, okay? Convenience. Don't just do what is convenient. This is one of the things you have to mentally train yourself. Again, we're trying to transform your relationship with money. Money is just something you use. So you've got to get used to thinking before you use it. And you've got to not just do what's convenient. The second one is comparison. And this goes back to the app. So this is where I was going. My long-winded way of getting back to the loan app. So if you have the financial calculator app, I forget what mine is even called. Do you have any other financial apps on your phone?
I don't have financial apps. I have a ton of like money saving apps because
like the
Retail Me Not. Love Retail Me Not.
So mine is called Ibotta. Yes.
I love
Beth
Ibotta.
is great with that.
I am.
Holy cow. Yeah, you got to list all those, man. You got to put those in the comments because seriously, she saves me. Like we buy this like plant milk. We're getting a little off topic.
It's okay.
Maybe we buy this plant milk and it's so expensive. Like even when it's on sale,
it's expensive. Right?
It's expensive. And this Ibotta thing, like every time I go and buy it, it'll be like $5. Like I get $5 back. It's so great. So great. You're so great.
I will tell her. I'm like, don't forget to use that.
Don't forget to use Ibotta.
Yeah.
And
I use Checkout 51.
Checkout 51. Yeah. That was another one. But this one is the financial calculator app. It's called Easy Calculators. So whenever you're going to get a loan, or even if you have a credit card, I highly suggest you bust this out right now and just see how much in interest you're paying. Because every credit card statement, really, it does show it. But let's face it, a lot of us either get our credit card statements electronically or we don't look.
Right.
So get your app out. Use the Easy Calculators app. And I am telling you, compare. When you go to shop for a car, compare. I mean, seriously. Tens of thousands of dollars and you're getting a higher interest rate. If you could have saved on that interest, you're talking about thousands of dollars, guys, that you could have saved. Compare. Don't just make a quick decision. That helps you stay on track a lot if you just compare your options. You've always got options. And the last one is compromise.
What hurts worse? That's your favorite line.
I always say
for
that.
Me. I was going to buy a house and I'm going, Amy, I got these 2 options and I don't know what to do. And she goes, what hurts worse? I go, what hurts worse is getting into a house that my kids and I hate just because I can afford it. And she's
compromise.
like, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Just wait. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense.
But I needed somebody to hear me say that because in my head I was driving myself insane. Right. What to do. So
well, and sometimes when you talk out loud, like that's why it helps, right? Like it helps to just kind of talk it out with somebody and to be told by another person too.
That you're not crazy, that this is really, yeah.
But that was a class example. She was about to compromise on a house.
Right. Because I wanted to get out of a situation. I was renting and I wanted to get out of it. And I was frustrated and I knew I could get this place and we're on a tangent. But anyway, I didn't. And I didn't settle. And what happened is the perfect one showed up for me.
Yeah.
So I know. So compromise. And I have something to add to when you're
finished
with your
let me review. So the first one was definitely utilize technology and apps to help you stay on your budget. So like a mint.com. Write things down. Write down what you must do. Write down what you must do. We're not even going to call them goals because these are things you must do. This is what you must do right now and write down how you are going to get there. The third one is the 3 C's. The 3 C's is convenience, comparison, and compromise. So now the next one, you wanted to add something though.
So I spent a lot of time helping people with not necessarily financial goals, but also a lot of like health and wellness, personal goals, because you live in your body all the time and it's the only one you have. So what are your goals?
It's like a foundation.
And people will say what they want to hear. Well, I want to do this, but then they'll never follow through on it. So in your finances are very similar because right. You want to do something, but you really don't because you don't do it. So
you just want to be, actually sometimes what it is some people just want you to agree with them.
Right. So
what I'm doing is right? Like they don't really want your advice.
Right.
They want you to just be like, yeah, it's fine.
So if nothing changes, if you do the same exact thing today and nothing changes, what is it going to look like next year?
Helena.
And in 3 years and in 5 years? Because if you don't stay on track with your financial goals and you are not,
which is the topic, Tamara.
Oh, hi, Tamara.
She's like, what is the topic? Well, we're talking about how you stay on track with your finances.
Right. So if you can say it's a priority, but if it's not a priority or you don't make it your priority, your situation doesn't ever improve. So you can say it, but
I'm totally going to call out somebody watching right now. I'm not going to say their name, but let's just say one of you that is watching right now, or maybe they have hopped off. One of you that is watching right now has a financial situation that we went over, and we went over on a budget. And I'm like, great, when are we going to get started on this budget? Like, I'm really excited. Like, we sat down, we got everything situated, we've got a plan, whatever. And then the last thing that this person, I'm not even going to say the sex of the person, this person said to me, well, we can start this after my Disney trip next month.
No.
And I'm like,
No.
I just want to strangle you. Like, is it a priority or not?
Because you'll have lots of time for Disney once you get the rest of yourself situated.
Yes.
And you know what? It really stinks. Like I said, budgets aren't sexy.
No,
And you know what? Hanging out on my Ibotta app is not much fun either. But I do it when I wake up in the morning before I go to bed at night. Like, I have to scour. Like, that's like my zen, I guess. But what it's helped me do is that
it's so fun.
I've had,
and we will put all these apps in the comments.
I found $150 that I could spend on, gas to Disney.
Gas, right? So, I mean, and if my mom watches this, my mother probably will tune into this, or one of my family members, but my mother is very not good with finances and is one of the classic people that will spend money. Like, I have to get my hair done. I must go get my hair done. I have to get my hair done. And then the next week is like, oh my gosh, I don't have gas money. I need gas money. It's like, you didn't know you were going to need gas like last week.
Right.
You gotta prioritize. It's a mindset, guys. That's what I'm saying. It's not goals. It's not a matter of what you want to do always. Sometimes it's what you need to do. You have got to prioritize. So I don't know if we would call that number 4, because this was what you wanted to add. We're gonna call this number 4. Do you see my numbering?
I do.
1, 2, 3, because I had a whole list, but then we jumped.
And with
around.
that prioritizing, one of the things that we talk about too is like building an emergency fund.
Oh, all the time we talk about this.
Because if you want to stay on track with your
We've said
financial
this a
plans,
million
stuff
times.
comes up. So, and I was telling her,
and it's for sure. We know it's going to happen. Stuff will come up.
My grandmother used to talk about something called hush money, and it was like money that nobody else knew about. Like, it wasn't something that you even remember.
You don't really like
have.
it. Oh, okay.
So
it's just for a rainy day.
And it was one of those things. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what she called it, from the, 60s, 50s or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and it was one of those things that you're out and all of a sudden your debit card doesn't work. And you need to put gas in your car and nothing works. Or, hurricane. Right? You don't have money for...
Hurricanes tend to put a little dent in that.
Or any natural disaster. But anyway, it was things like, you have to have that because things come up and you're going to derail your financial future.
You have to have that emergency
if you don't. And you know what? You might have to forsake that trip to Disney. We're just going to use that now.
We're just going to use that now as
so you might have to forsake that.
Maybe it'll beat it.
And that really stinks. And that is not much fun to sit at home while your friends and family and everybody else are doing
It's
their
not,
thing,
but it's the short term.
It's short term.
It's the short term solution. Wait, no. It's a short term compromise for a long term solution.
Right.
You got to look at the bigger picture, because there's other things to worry about. As again, I always say, your future self does not just show up with a chunk of cash.
Right.
It's not going to get easier just every year that you get older. So it's about the mindset you've got to prioritize. Okay, so again, for those of you just joining, we're talking about how to stay on track or get back on track with your finances. And we talk about like financial plan, but not everybody has a financial plan. So we're just saying how to stay on track in the right direction with your finances. So far, we have talked about technology, which we will put all the apps that we were talking about in the comments, such as Mint, Ibotta. I mentioned the easy calculators. Number 2, write what you must do down. Again, not really goal setting. I don't know if you know this about me. I don't really like the word goals. Like, I just feel like
I'm going to write that on her door.
It's so great to be like, yes, I've got big goals. But I think it's even more important to say, what must I do, and how do I get there? Write down what you must do. You must write down, even weekly, what you must do to get to where you want to be. Okay, number 3, the 3 C's of staying on track with your finances, of financial decisions, actually. This is a YouTube video that I did. Convenience, comparison, and compromise. Shoot, that's your timer.
It is.
That always has to go. We're just like running out of time. Ryan, you want to step in? Convenience, comparison, and compromise. So don't just do what's convenient. Think before you use your money, right? Money is just something you use, guys. You're in control of it. I don't know if it's so hard to really realize that. So many people feel like they're being controlled by their money. But what did Lena say? Can a parent be your emergency fund? That's a good
The
question.
14-year-old just asked
Her
me.
14-year-old just
And
said,
you know, if you're starting out or you've had a major life event, like in 4 years, I got divorced, had some fun cancer stuff that required some traveling, and
lost a job.
lost jobs. Like, yeah, my parents were my emergency
I'm
funds.
keeping track of
Yeah, you're keeping track of my life events. But yeah, like, okay, that happens. Sometimes your emergency fund disappears. Well, you gotta bring it back. Anyway, you said that was number.
That was, what was I doing? 3? Oh, the 3 C's.
Yeah, 3 C's.
Convenience, comparison, and compromise. Always compare. You always have choices on how you use your money. Yes, I know that sounds crazy, but you do have choices. The 4th one was prioritize. Write down your priorities, and we've talked about in the debt webinar. How to prioritize.
Yep.
But one of the main ones that we'll just say here, obviously, is prioritize by interest rate. Interest rate is the money you are paying other people. It's not in your pocket. Okay, so that is where you prioritize. That's just one little tip on how you prioritize. And then the 5th one we just mentioned is having an emergency fund, which I'm not going to beat that to death because there's so many YouTube videos, Instagram videos about having an emergency fund. I'm going to be sick if I talk about it again. Okay, and do you have to go or do you have time for one more?
I've got time for one more, but you got like 3 minutes.
Okay. Well, and we can talk about accountability and making yourself accountable or having somebody be accountable.
Yes.
Right? So, okay, can your parent be your emergency fund? Yes. Can your parent also be the one that it holds you accountable? Yes. Somebody has to hold you accountable, whether it's a friend, whether it's a professional, whether it's a coworker. I don't care who it is, whether it's a son or daughter. Somebody has got to hold you accountable if you want to stay on track. A lot of times, just like dieting, I compare it a lot to dieting.
Yeah.
How many of us need like somebody to hold us accountable or somebody to help us? Because it's just hard sometimes.
And like dieting, it's hard to keep starting over. So
Right?
you keep starting over this financial plan over and over and over again, you don't get anywhere.
And just like dieting, you can always justify why.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've already gotten off track this morning, so I'm just going to have an awesome lunch and just do dessert and awful. You know, you justify it in your head.
Hey, listen, there was a study that cake for breakfast is good. So.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's
Just saying.
I
So
have
it's your
not seen
birthday.
that.
Enjoy.
I've not seen that study. But it's the same thing. Like you justify, like, oh, I'm already off track. True that accountability.
Yeah, and it's hard. Nobody likes to be held accountable.
No.
Nobody likes to have the difficult conversation of, hey, Amy, you owe me $2,000, and I know you don't have it, and that's okay, but it's not okay. I know you're trying, and you've got to do it. So how are we going to get there?
Right.
If you fail to make a plan, you are totally planning to fail. And I say that to my children.
Yes.
They are 6, almost 7, and 9. Like, lack of planning on your part is not an emergency on my part. And that is
Right.
true in everything in their life.
Yeah.
And I really hope they learn that. But that's true with your finances. If you're not making a plan, you're just, you're not going to show up later with that bucket of money.
Just, you know what? Here's a tip too. Use your money like you would want your kids to use their money. So would you want your kids to just go make a quick decision, you know, just spending money on whatever they want? Would you want your kids to go do that irresponsible, you know, pay for your hair before they need their gas money?
Right.
Treat your decisions like you would want your kids to spend their money. You know, like really relate it to that. And if you don't have kids, your nieces and nephews.
Well, we have a YouTube video too. If you do have children, we have a YouTube video about how to teach your kids about money for sure. So that's
Yep,
a
and
good
that
one
was
to
a
go
little
to.
short and sweet thing. So I actually have a couple more. Maybe we'll do a continuation. Like maybe we'll do a random live on Monday.
Ooh,
How about that?
that'd be good.
Let's do a random live on Monday and we'll continue because we have like 2 more tips. But Beth really has to go. Hey, Lacey.
I'm sorry.
Hey, guys. We're going to continue this on Monday. So watch the replay. Share this out, guys, if you find it valuable. We will put all the apps in the comments that we were talking about. But you have to go. So we will finish this on Monday. We'll do a nice random live because everybody likes to talk money on Monday. Yay!
Monday money.
Guys, have an awesome weekend. Thanks
like
for
that.
joining, and we will see you Monday.
Bye.
Bye.